quick take, let's get it. After a hot start, the Lakers have lost 3 of their last 4, including a loss to the Pistons last night. Anthony Davis was examined after aggravating a left foot injury in the 4th quarter. Shay, I'll start with you. I know your Lakers near and dear to your heart. Are you concerned?
I am, because of the bench. They have a very poor bench. They scored 10 points. They got outscored by 17. Detroit bench got 27. The Lakers got 10. That's not nearly good enough. There were several guys, Stephen A., that got some great cardio. They played 18, 19 minutes and didn't put the ball in the basket. That's not good enough. Anthony Davis is playing better than he ever has before. You know what you're going to get from LeBron James, which is consistency. Points, rebounds, and assists. AR-15, doing great. D-Lo come and goes, Rui. But the bench, we've got to get better production from the bench in order to have a chance to compete, seriously compete for an NBA title.
Absolutely. No disagreement here. I don't expect you to be sitting courtside for any Lakers games in the very near future. Let me throw that out there.
There you go, man. What that got to do with the question?
It ain't got everything to do with for me, okay? By the way, this cat, Jaden Ivey, put it on him last night. I love what I'm seeing from him. He's really grown. He's gotten a lot better this year. Had 26 last night. You know what? You Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russells, and those boys, you can't be getting outplayed by opposing backcourts. LeBron and AD need all the help they can get. You talking about thin on the bench. How about your starter showing up? Hachimura, 8 points? Come on, man. You got to do better than that. D'Angelo Russell, 4-14 shooting. You got to do better than that. So I'm saying they need help from not just their bench. They need help from some of their starters.
All right, let's keep it rolling
Even
here.
when you come in and the bench is playing the amount of minutes that they're playing, they got to give you some production.
Shannon, party's over. There are high hopes for the Bucks this season with 2 superstars on their squad, and Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard, and Doc Rivers orchestrating, but Milwaukee hasn't lived up to expectations. Keep in mind, Chris Middleton has been out. The Bucks have lost by 2 last night without Giannis on the court, despite Dame's 36-point performance. Milwaukee is now 1-6 on the season, tied for their worst start through 7 games. They started 1-6 in 68-69, 74-75, and 93-94, missing the playoffs each time. The Bucks have also dropped 6 games for the first time since 2015. 2 superstars on that team, Kendrick, Perkins. Hello, sir. Need you to help break this all down for us, but I'm going to start with you, Stephen A., and we're going to put the focus on Giannis first. Should Giannis want out of Milwaukee?
No. Not yet anyway. They look bad. They've been competitive, losing back-to-back games to Cleveland, but they lost. Giannis is averaging 31 and 12. Damian Lillard is averaging nearly 28 on 45% shooting. You talk about a team that's thin, Shannon. I mean, as Big Perk will confirm, Milwaukee is one of those teams, for crying out loud. They got a whole bunch of cats that ain't showing up, okay? And so, and Doc Rivers definitely is going to be in some hot water if they don't turn this around quick, fast, and in a hurry. But here's the reason why I'm of the mindset that Giannis shouldn't want out as of yet. Number one, it's early. But number 2, the present conditions, he's somewhat culpable for it. The fact of the matter is that you got a coach in Adrian Griffin that was 20-plus games over 500 and was a top 2 seed in the Eastern Conference, and he got fired. And he got fired, and Doc Rivers got brought there. And so when you look at the moves that they've made, you know the organization consulted with Giannis. Giannis obviously wanted what he wanted, and as a result, they gave that to him to some degree, and this is how you're looking. When you are somewhat culpable for the conditions under which you're working with, then you don't duck and run. You got to stay there and try to stick it out. That's why I'm of that mindset right now.
Perk, where are you on this?
Look, Giannis the one that made this bed. He the one that got to lay in it, okay? He's the one that got to lay in it. And look, Stephen A., it goes way before the firing of Adrian Griffin. Didn't Mike Budenholzer get fired as well? A guy that they won a championship with? Okay, and then all of a sudden you fire Adrian Griffin. Giannis forced the hand to trade for Damian Lillard, okay, and get Drew Holiday out of there. Here's the thing. Does Giannis have blood on his hands? Absolutely, right? All over this. So you got to stick it out. You got to ride it out. This is what you wanted, Giannis. You knew that you and Dame didn't have the chemistry that y'all needed to have, especially playing the 2-man game and learning one another. Dame told you time and time again publicly last season, he told all of us that it was times that he felt lonely because it was the first time that he was away from his family. Did Giannis step up as a franchise player and a leader to say, hey, Dame, come over to the crib, watch some games, let's build some type of chemistry? Did Giannis do a good job this offseason of reaching out to Dame and say, hey, let's get in the gym at some point together. Let's construct a mini camp before a training camp. That's what real leaders do. Now when you look at the organization, okay, the leaders who run an organization, the Knicks went out, and what did they do this offseason? They didn't make popular moves. They made powerful moves. They went and got Mikal Bridges and Karl Anthony Towns so that they could try to look eye to eye with the Boston Celtics. The same thing that Philadelphia did when they went and got Paul George. Who did the Milwaukee Bucks go out there and get? Gary Trent Jr. and Taurean Prince. So you're telling me that's going to move the needle? When you saw Chris Middleton last year show signs that he was aging and look old, and you knew that he was having 2 surgeries this offseason on both ankles, and you didn't Beyonce this roster and upgrade it, that's a problem.
Shay?
Every coach is there because of Giannis' blessings. He wanted to move off from Jay Kidd and got Mike Budenholzer. Mike Budenholzer won a championship. A couple of years later, they struggled losing the first round. He wanted a different head coach. They bring in Adrian Griffin. He was 30-13. That wasn't good enough for Giannis. They got Doc Rivers. He wanted, as Perk said, he wanted another superstar. But in the process of getting that superstar in Dame Lillard, you weakened your team because your own ball presence, what Holiday is. So what you did, not only did you weaken your team, you strengthened the team that's been your chief competition in the East. You made them damn near unbeatable. They got 2 young guns, 2 guys that can hound the basketball in Derek White and Holiday. And you got a big guy in the presence, Zingers and Al Horford. No, Giannis, don't run. Why are you going to set the house on fire and then you going to run your ass up out of it? No, stay there. If it burns down, you set it on fire. No, don't duck and dodge now, because now, Stephen A., sometimes if you're not careful, you'll become the very thing you despise the most in a person. We've heard Giannis take shots about other guys going to link up. He don't want to believe in those superstar teams. Yeah. He don't believe in all that. Now you want to run and hide? Don't think we didn't know you was taking subtle shots at KD. Don't think we didn't think you took subtle shots at LeBron and some of these other powerful players. Now look at you. 1-6, you were 30-13, but that wasn't good enough for you. You wanted a new coach. A couple of years after you won a championship with Mike Budenholzer, that wasn't good enough. You didn't got tired of Jason Kidd. Nah, you need to ride this ship out. You've been steering it.
Yeah,
you steered it into an iceberg.
Shannon,
You're
I
the
hear
reason
you.
that is going down.
And I understand that he has blood on his hands, but from a basketball perspective, Stephen A., do you feel like the combo of Giannis and Dame isn't working?
It's not working. It's clearly not working. They're 1-6, and they don't look good. And obviously by acquiring Dame, you depleted some of the other assets that you had available, therefore relying on guys that simply have gotten old right before our very eyes, and you can't rely on them. I want to pause for 1 second. I don't want us to get into the Budenholzer element of the conversation. They won during the regular season, but they weren't themselves. But if you remember, there were reports of some health concerns combined with the loss of his brother. And I remember when Budenholzer departed from the Milwaukee Bucks, one of the things that I was saying is I was certainly not encouraging that he be fired. I said if ever I looked at a coach that needed time off, it was that guy. Because you could see that there was stuff that was wearing on him that had absolutely nothing to do with basketball. So if I saw that, y'all saw it, you know the players saw it, so there's nothing wrong. I don't think anybody can be blamed because we all know what a great coach Mike Budenholzer has been and who he is. So I'm not going to hold Giannis accountable for that. But everything else Shay and Perk have said have been right on the money in that regard. In the end, it's your house. This is something you built. It's something that you wanted. You wanted to tweak it and whatever. And with Damian Lillard, we know what he could bring to the table offensively, but he ain't known for being that kind of dude defensively. And what you've surrounded him and Dame with, we all obviously have to look at Bucks management and say, what are you doing? What are you doing here? Because they don't really have much to work with. They can be competitive, but in the end, the two of them have proven they can't do it alone because nobody else is stepping up. And they ain't winning.
Perk, do you think the Giannis and Dame combo can work? And if not, what's the move?
I believe it can. I mean, look, both of those guys are putting up, great numbers. But again, how can you make it work with them doing it together, meaning a two-man game, like getting it down where we saw a few seasons ago in the NBA Finals, Jamal Murray and Jokic that was mastering the two-man game for us, a big and a small. It's not their problem. I've been saying this all season, since the start of the season. Who is going to be their third option? You got to have weapons in this league. It's so talented, especially if you're a contender. You got to have options. Who is going to be that third guy? Chris Middleton is out. Is it going to be Bobby Portis? And I love Bobby, but it's not going to be him. You got to have weapons.
Jay?
Stephen A., you said Mike Budenholzer. Did he request time away? After tragic passing, and I'm sorry to hear that his brother, I had no idea that his brother passed. Did he request time off?
No. Not to my knowledge.
So in other words,
not to my knowledge.
Do you believe Milwaukee went to Giannis? So if Mike Budenholzer, if Giannis goes to the management and says, I love Mike Budenholzer, this man has won me a championship, is Mike Budenholzer in Phoenix?
I don't know, Shannon. I think I got to admit, I saw, and I've spoken to some people who know Budenholzer, but I saw Budenholzer at one point when he lost his brother during the first round or whatever, he just didn't look like himself, bro. I'm telling you, it's one of those rare moments when you look at somebody and you're like, they really don't need to be working. They really need time away.
Yeah, but sometimes when you're going through stuff, the best thing is working.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
That's when you need to be a part
I agree, Marlon.
Yeah. So it should be,
I agree,
it should
Marlon.
be
It's
up to
supposed
you
to be
to make
sanctuary.
that decision.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's fair, but look at him now. I mean, I'm not talking about Phoenix. Look at him.
Yeah.
Look at the weight he's lost. Look at how healthy he looks. Look at how spry he looks, et cetera, et cetera. Whatever he was going through, obviously he worked through it, and he's come out the better for it, which gives indications of how bad off he was at that time.
Yeah, but that could go both ways.
Wanna try to boast at what I look like. Think I'm gonna try to wear, I pull up long range. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. It's NBA, I'm here,